So it's time for Mental Health Matters, and what an interesting topic today. We are joined by Johanse Iwodike, Behavioral Change Specialist, and on the agenda this morning, the question is asked, what exactly is love? Johanse, good morning, and
good morning.
I would love for you to start the conversation, start leading us in the direction to a possible answer. What exactly is love?
Morning, Jason, and morning to all the viewers. Now, I don't think throughout the years, the millennium history, that we ever found an exact definition of love that we can all accept. And this research was put on with me this week and from last week also, when my wife conducted a 9-day fruit fast. And on this fast, I realized that there are many things that I love in terms of food, and it's not really good for me. And I was wondering, well, why do I love it? Why I say I love it? And then also we have this expression of self-love. And if I'm doing things that I know that's not beneficial to myself, then what exactly is love? And then that was concretized. Last week, I actually saw a lot of couples, and many of them expressed, when asked, they weren't even sure why they love the other person. So it had me thinking again, exactly what is love? And of course, I consulted my wife, the person that I say that I love, for us to exactly understand what is love. So there's a threefold tenets that I stumbled upon that she shared with me also. One, how we know we love someone, or even where love comes from, firstly, is from knowledge. So, or at least perceived knowledge. We think we know something about someone. So whether it is their looks, whether it is their personality, there's something that we perceive about them, both good or positive and negative, because we have to wait to know whether or not we want to even love them or want to be part of them. So there's knowledge first, or perceived knowledge, because sometimes you see somebody driving a car or purporting a certain amount of wealth that may not be the full truth of it, or a woman wearing makeup that is not the full truth of what she looks like, but there's perceived knowledge. So we're going with knowledge first. You have to know something, and you're weighing the positive, negative. Then we're going into perceived goodness. Now, we choosing to see the goodness in someone, and we could even say that we become complacent in the goodness, because we would see, I don't want to say the bad, but you may see some of the negative or the weaknesses, but we choosing not to focus on it.
Yeah.
So now we have knowledge, then we have perceived knowledge, then perceived goodness, and complacency in the goodness. And then, the age-old cliche of opposites attract. Many times, or at least in my perception of it, or in my interpretation of it, if I have one thing, the person may be the opposite. So they say sometimes, two similarities, so two similar people can't come together. You need a little excitement, you need a little spice. But I looked at it from a different point of view, in terms of the opposition may be something that I think that I'm lacking and the person has. So let's say, just plainly, if I am tall and the person is short, if I am short and the person is tall, if I rich, the person poor person rich, if I good in book and the person good in street sense, there's something that I think I am lacking, that I looking to the person for, that I want in the person. So there could be an opposite. So let me put it together. First, you have to have knowledge of it, perceived knowledge of it, and of course, you weigh the good and the bad, the positive and negative, and of course, if it's wholly positive, you go with it. Then after the knowledge, we're going into the perceived goodness of everything, and you can become complacent in the goodness, meaning you're forgetting most of the negative, or you're disregarding most of the negative. And then thirdly, we're going to the opposites attract. So there's something or some things that you think you're lacking, that you want from this person. And when you pull all these things together, if there's strong enough force, then we love that person, or we love that thing. Tell me your thoughts.
So, you know, what I'm processing with everything just mentioned is that you're pulling information, you're pulling all what's happening to obviously come down to a choice. So I think love ultimately comes down to a choice. But is that choice one that can spread across the board? Can one love multiple sources at the same time, or all this must come together in one being, in one person, in one entity?
Well, I think based on it, you could love more than one entity, you know, but of course there'll be degrees in this love. And if we define love based on the tenets I just said, which is knowledge or perceived knowledge, perceived goodness, and then the opposites attract, then if one person or one thing has 5 good things, 5 things that you perceive that you know about them that you like, and then 5 things that you want from them, and then someone else has 4, 4.5, and then 6. You could weigh the pros and the cons, but you could be able to love more than one person, or more than one entity, more than one food, more than one habit, more than one anything. You could be able to love more than one. So it's not just there's only one love. So you only love one thing to eat, one person, etc.
Yeah, I mean, this whole concept of love, it is one that is so multidimensional. We could sit down and talk about this for the entire morning. I mean, in my personal assessment, I would have broken it down. I break it down into two categories. I think there's love and there's true love. And for me, I identify love as the concept of being able to forgive, and true love, the concept of being able to forgive and forget. Because I think when you truly love someone, no matter what they do, no matter how deep the scar and the hurt might have been, you can forgive and ultimately forget, in this concept of you might put yourself back in a position where the same thing could happen again, where we have seen time and time again in relationships where some people, you might say, you know what, on the outside looking in, nah, that can't work. And bam, a couple months after or days after, you see these people hugging up hand in hand, moving. So I sometimes wonder if indeed my concept is flawed, or if indeed I was onto something. I just kind of came up with that in my own quiet moment at time, just by the beach, watching the waters in a meditation, you know?
Jason, I like that, because I think we should all pursue to understand exactly what we mean by love. Because it's not just the concept of love, but understanding why, or where does it come from? Why do I love this person? Because I've often heard, and this happened a lot in session. Actually, I've experienced this more with men than ladies. A lot of men say, I just love this girl, something about this girl, I just can't stay away from her. I'm not sure. And most times they don't know why. And we're not judging whether or not you can't stay away from the person or not, but it's good to understand why. Because, you know, they're just saying, know thyself. And when you understand yourself, and of course, if we add knowledge is power. So if you know yourself, you're able to manage yourself better and not just do things. And then, you know, a month, a year, 2 years, you look back and say, well, I don't know why I do this. Because if you don't know why, then something leading you and you're not sure what it is.
Yeah, because love, I think, also is subject to change. I think we have seen in our lifetime so many cases of folks, you know, love off, proclaiming love to the mountaintop, slow motion running through the botanic gardens, hand in hand, and then something goes awry and that love turns to I do like to use the word hate, but you see people going at it and you wonder to yourself sometimes, did they actually love each other? Were they in love once? So love is one that very ticklish. Then you see people having relationships with, let's say, and I don't mean an intimate relationship. We're just talking about that relationship and that love and the way they will go the extra mile for, let's say, a dog or a cat. The animal lovers, right. People who, I mean, they treat the dog, a dog.
Better than themselves.
Better than themselves, or better than some humans, you know. There are those who will go the extra mile for, I mean, you can't come wrong them and the dog. As a matter of fact, if the dog happens to pass on, it's a shambles. The person is broken. They'll have to take some time off from work to really gather themselves. So love and people, what they experience with love, it's so interesting, it's so unique. You know, there are those who love material things. There are those who love others. There are those who are so selfless with their love. There are those who, I wonder sometimes, and I'll ask you now, if there even is the capacity in some people to love. You wonder how some people move if love is part of their existence at all.
I think yes, and I think all of us have love in us, but each one of us are individuals. So it's very possible we love differently, and even the reason why and how we love is important to understand. Because let's say from a child, all of us are cultured differently, so therefore we learn love from different sources, whether it is actual words, somebody taught us how to love, or we looking on to see how your parents, your relatives, your teachers, all those people you're around love each other. So I think everybody have that capacity to love, but it's extremely important for you to understand why and how, so that when you understand it and then you meet now another individual, whether it is in an intimate or romantic setting, or even as a friend, you could be able to even express why and how you love, and that person now could articulate the same thing. So then now you all come together and can even come to a consensus on how you all want to love each other.
Must one love thyself? Must one love yourself first before you're able to exhibit and give love and receive love? Or can someone help you in that regard? If you don't really love yourself, if there's still some issues within and you're too sure really on how you feel about yourself, can you love still?
Well, let me give it to you twofold. And I really giving credit to my wife today. She told me you can't love somebody more than you love yourself. And when, as a single person, I thought I know how to love myself. I gave myself everything I thought I needed. But I think to complete the love process, you need to mirror it with someone else, because there are things that I know, that I like, that I love, that I could take care of myself with. But when you have somebody else, and they don't always have to be in a romantic setting, so but at least someone else there to be able to show you something different. They may not necessarily change you, but at least again a different perspective. So now you could complete that self-love process by getting a different perspective. So yes, I'm saying this first is to love yourself, because if you don't have the love cultivated in you, how you're really going to share that with anyone else? And then when you're ready to share it with someone else, getting a different perspective on how they love could help complete that process.
You know, intimacy is something that sometimes can really throw. I mean, if love is let's say gas, intimacy sometimes could be that match, that spark to blow things up, and then sometimes one person, they you know, stars and moons, and they're in this particular place, and the next person might not be in the exact same place. How does one sometimes balance that? Because that is an important, very powerful force that can sometimes put you in that place of love, but it not necessarily might be coming back to you from the said person you're with at the point in time, or the said person might not be the best in terms of your development, your interest, what you want to really bring in your life to take it to the next place. But you're so sweet in the moment. And of course you say, well, you love off, you're ready to risk it all. What you say about that particular scenario? Because again, I think we should keep this as an ongoing series, because there have so many aspects to this whole concept of love.
All right. Well, it could be dangerous if we equate intimacy to sex. So let me go back. Intimacy, and I've learned, at least in my experience, intimacy equals to truth. So if you could really be honest, the true self with that person in that moment, when two people being honest with each other, that's intimacy. Now, in that truth, of course, it will be revealed exactly who you are and who the person is. So you can make a more active decision to know whether you want to move forward or how you want to move forward. But if we're using the sex aspect of it, right? Sex means different things to different people. So when two people choosing to engage in the activity, most times, or a lot of times, they don't even be on the same page as to why. And that's because of human behavior. Human behavior is taught into feeling, into action. So something going on here, it reach here, and then you act, but it may not be even on the same page. So if you're not having that intimate conversation or intimate interaction where truth exists, then of course, if sex comes into play, then it could cause a lot of problems.
Yeah, and that's one that obviously we could develop when we discuss this later on. But when we look at love, again, the whole concept and I would say, you know, as you rightfully said, that definition, it's one that can go so many different directions, but obviously there's certain components you would have identified, but ultimately it's a choice. It's a choice we make. A choice we make sometimes when times are tough, when things are hard. I guess that's really the test sometimes of that said love. Love to me, yes, the boat sailing, the water's nice and smooth, but it's when it really gets choppy. Sometimes you look around and those people who really love you, who seek your interest, who really have you in their heart, I guess you'll look around and you'll see them. And for those who are not, would we say or suggest they don't love us?
Well, you see, it depends, again, if you have that relationship with someone, understanding how they love is important. Because if you're only looking at love through your lens, then you think many people don't love you because they're not loving you like how you think love should be. But again, with that intimate conversation, intimate opening and sharing with the person, you can get to understand how they love. To know if they get 10 gifts that mean love versus you think 10 hugs mean love. And then when you have a better understanding of that, then you can equate and understand if this person really loves me or not.
Yeah, well said. I want to thank you, and we'll stick a pin on it because I think we have to do a part 2, a part 3. This is one that we could obviously expand on later. But I love some of the concepts that you brought to the table, and I'm happy that you know it was not out of the like a real mad concept I had in terms of the love and true love. I just sat down at the beach, you know, and I was thinking now, and I was saying,
no, that's good.
Forgiveness.
That's good. I think that everybody, and I'm employing everyone today, the viewers, to sit and really think about why I love this person, why I love myself, if I really love myself, why I love this job, why I love this food, to really contemplate why and see what answer you come up with. Don't just take it as a feeling that just something happened.
Yeah.
And simplify your life.
I know you always leave us with your closing remarks. Go right ahead.
Right. Simplify your life. Viewers, life is not easy, but it's really not that hard. Thank you for listening.
You want to say thanks a lot and have a great one. God spare we talk again next week, Thursday. So, as Johansen makes his exit, we're just coming to hand. I'm seeing this here. This is a message from the Minister of Education. It says the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service has just upgraded the adverse weather alert from yellow to orange. As a result, all schools in Trinidad and Tobago will be closed today, October 6th, 2022. It goes on to say principals will be issued official documentation and the Ministry of Education will issue an official statement on this shortly. Again, the Trinidad and Tobago Meteorological Service has just upgraded the adverse weather alert from yellow to orange. As a result, all schools in Trinidad, they did not mention here Tobago. All schools in Trinidad will be closed today, October 6th, 2022. Principals will be issued official documentation and the Ministry of Education will issue an official statement on this shortly. Now, parents who are forward-thinking, this might not impact them because I know they would have kept their children home today, but for those who would have gone to school, who would have sent their children out, like my son who was out today, his granddad took him out, now he have to turn around and this should have been done. I mean, granted, if the adverse weather alert probably just got updated, yes, they'll have to make a decision in real time. But I'm thinking, based on what we saw yesterday and with the fact that we know today was also going to be rainy, that should have been said earlier. But then again, you know, it might not impact many because I'm thinking, I'm sure there are many parents who would have kept their children home today. I would have said that earlier. Today is not going to be as terrible as yesterday, but it's in the same vein of plenty rain. So again, word there from the minister, school is suspended just for today. And for those who would have sent their children out, let's try to make plans to get them back home as soon as possible. Thanks there for the update. We take a pause. We come back and we give you details concerning the Business Guardian. Curtis Williams joins me next.